Penguins. Living in the hardest scenes on Earth. One of the regions on Earth where the limits of life are felt most harshly is the polar zone. In these areas, cold is not just a temperature value, it is a way of existence in itself. The sharpness of the wind, the months-long disappearance of light, the constantly shifting surface of the ice, all force living beings to be not only strong but also extremely adaptable. On this stage, there's a group that has quietly reigned for millions of years: penguins. Penguins do not fly. Yet in water, they hold a dominion superior to that of birds in the sky. They are not just a species of bird, they are an engineering masterpiece patiently written by nature. Their bodies, behaviors, social structures, and life cycles have all been shaped according to the planet's harshest conditions. This section details how penguins reached this point, the evolutionary paths they followed, and the biological secrets that allow them to survive today. Evolutionary journey, from flight to the depths of the ocean. The story of penguins begins during a period of great transformation on Earth. After the extinction of the dinosaurs, ecosystems were reshaped, and birds began to spread into vacant niches. While some birds continued to live both on land and in the air, a group of individuals turned toward the coasts and the ocean. This shift formed the evolutionary foundation of penguins. The sea offered an unlimited source of food, but also brought new dangers. To hunt underwater, the shape of their wings began to change. The lightweight structure suited for flight gave way to dense, powerful muscles. Bones became heavier, wings transformed into flippers, and chest muscles gained extraordinary strength. This transformation continued over generations. Each generation took a step closer to life in water, and further from the sky. Eventually, penguins abandoned the sky entirely, but in return, the doors of the ocean opened wide, living underwater. A closer look at a penguin's body reveals that no detail is accidental. From feathers to bones, from muscles to internal organs, every structure is shaped to withstand cold and aquatic conditions. Unlike flying birds, penguins' bones are solid. This feature provides balance underwater and prevents the body from floating uncontrollably to the surface. Their wings are short and stiff. They are designed not for flying, but for swimming. These flipper-like wings generate exceptional propulsion in the water. The muscle system is particularly concentrated in the chest area. These muscles allow penguins to swim for long periods without tiring. Hunting journeys that last hours in the ocean's depths are made possible by this muscular strength. Feathers are the penguin's most vital armor. The body is covered with very dense, waterproof feathers. Beneath these feathers lies a thick layer of fat. This structure maintains body temperature and protects against the lethal effects of freezing water. Physiology of cold, life from within. Penguins' circulatory system has evolved to reduce the effects of cold. Blood vessels run close together in the warm parts of the body. Warm blood transfers heat to the cooling blood. In this way, heat loss in the feet and flippers is minimized. The respiratory system is adapted for long dives. Penguins can hold their breath for extended periods, slow their heart rate, and reduce oxygen consumption. Muscle tissues contain high levels of oxygen-binding proteins. This feature enables prolonged movement underwater. Their metabolism is built on energy conservation. During periods of scarcity, penguins use the fat stored in their bodies extremely efficiently. This allows them to survive for weeks without food. Geography and habitats. Penguins are not limited to Antarctica. They are spread across much of the southern hemisphere. Colonies can be found along the coasts of South America, southern Africa, around Australia, and even on islands near the equator. Each species develops different traits according to the conditions of its habitat. Penguins living in cold climates have thick layers of fat and dense feathers, while those in milder regions are lighter in build. However, all penguins share a similar philosophy of life in relation to water. Basics of social life. Penguins do not live alone. In their world, individuality is weak, and community is the key to survival. They live in large colonies, sometimes consisting of hundreds of thousands of individuals. The crowd is not merely a social choice, it is a survival strategy. When they gather, they conserve body heat, deter predators, and protect their test of life. Each individual exists as part of the colony. In the penguin life cycle, the breeding season is the toughest challenge. This process occurs under the planet's harshest climatic conditions. The sharpness of the wind, the biting cold, and the long darkness do not make it easy for any living being to bring offspring into the world. Yet penguins meet this challenge with one of nature's most impressive examples of sacrifice. During the breeding season, colonies become highly active. Individuals recognize their mates by their voices. Each penguin's call is unique, and even in crowds of thousands, mates find each other through the sound alone. Courtship behaviors involve head movements, chest displays, and synchronized walking. These rituals are not only for mate selection, but also help maintain social order within the colony. Incubation and limits of sacrifice. Once the egg is laid, responsibility is shared between parents. In some species, this duty is rotated, while in others, one mate faces extended periods of fasting. In species living in cold regions, one parent carries the egg on its feet, covering it with the warm part of its body. During this time, no food is consumed for weeks. The body gradually weakens, but the chick's survival comes first. This sacrifice is both physical and mental. Despite storms, hunger, and freezing risk, penguins never abandon the egg, because a moment of neglect would result in the chick's death. Chick care and education. When the chick hatches, it is extremely vulnerable. In the early stages, it is entirely dependent on the warmth and feeding provided by its parents. The mother and father feed the chick through regurgitation. This food is pre-digested and optimized for the chick's development. As the chick grows, it is placed in special areas within the colony. Here, it grows with other chicks, learns social behaviors, and begins to recognize dangers. This stage is critical for developing survival skills. Eventually, its body feathers transform into waterproof plumage. When this transformation is complete, the chick enters the sea for the first time. This moment is one of the most important thresholds in penguin life, as survival from then on depends entirely on the individual's own abilities. Hunting and connection with the ocean. Penguins spend much of their lives in the ocean. Their hunting strategies are highly developed. They can move in schools underwater, direct fish shoals, and catch prey with sudden bursts of speed. They hold an important place in the food chain, feeding on fish, squid, and small crustaceans. This feeding behavior helps maintain the balance of ocean ecosystems. Without penguins, this balance would quickly collapse. Role in ecosystem balance. Penguins are not only predators, they are also regulators of nature. By consuming certain species, they control populations, contribute to plankton development with their droppings, and serve as food for many predators. When a penguin colony disappears, the effect is not just the loss of a species. Through chain reactions, the entire ecosystem is disturbed. Humans and penguins. Intersecting fates. In the modern era, the greatest threat to penguins comes from humans. Global warming causes sea ice to retreat and food sources to decline. Ocean pollution, oil spills, and overfishing significantly impact penguin populations. Human activities also lead to behavioral changes. Research stations and tourism disrupt breeding patterns and increase chick mortality. Penguins are among the most iconic and beloved bird species. These elegant and resilient creatures survive in harsh polar regions, on vast icy landscapes, and provide a living warning about the delicate balance of ecosystems. For centuries, penguins have hunted in cold ocean waters and traveled in flocks, attracting attention not only with their unique lifestyles, but also with their social behaviors that reflect nature's intricate balance. For example, emperor penguins in Antarctica huddle together during harsh winters to share heat and show incredible sacrifice to protect their young. However, increasing human activity and climate change seriously threaten their future. Rising temperatures, sea level rise, melting glaciers, and declining fish stocks directly affect penguins' food sources, breeding, and migration routes, leading to population decline. Long-term scientific research shows that some penguin species may face significant population declines in the coming decades and may even disappear from some habitats. For instance, Adelie penguins are losing traditional nesting areas due to sea ice melting, while Gentoo penguins struggle to find food as hunting grounds shrink. This situation signals not only the risk to penguins, but also the disruption of the entire polar ecosystem. Penguins play a key role as both predator and prey, and changes in their populations create chain reactions
human
affecting
impact on the
seals,
climate,
whales,
carbon emissions,
and other
fossil
seabirds.
fuel
Use, ocean pollution, and plastic waste are major threats to penguins' natural habitats. Microplastics in the oceans disrupt their feeding, while oil spills and chemical pollution reduce survival rates for chicks and adults. At the same time, these threats carry an important message for humans. Unless we protect nature and ecosystems, not only penguins, but all life forms will face serious risks. Humans must understand the challenges penguins face and take action for their protection. Ecosystems are interconnected like dominoes, and the loss of one species can collapse the entire system. From individual actions to global policies, measures to reduce plastic use, cut carbon emissions, support sustainable fishing, create protected areas, and combat climate change are urgently needed to protect penguins and their habitats. Penguins are living examples of both nature's fragility and resilience. Their ability to act collectively, protect their young, and share resources symbolizes the power of cooperation and solidarity. To ensure future generations can witness these magnificent creatures, we must act now and adopt a nature-respecting lifestyle. The extinction of penguins would not only mean their loss, but also threaten humans' own living environment and future. Measures against the climate crisis are not just insurance for penguins, they are insurance for the entire planet. Every individual, society, and state must share this responsibility. The survival struggle of penguins reminds us of our connection to nature and the fragility of ecosystems, while also giving hope and inspiration. With the right actions, ecosystems can recover, species can survive, and a sustainable balance between humans and nature can be established. In conclusion, the future of penguins directly depends on our actions. Helping them is not just protecting a species, it is investing in the planet's future, preserving biodiversity, and leaving a healthy world for coming generations. Humanity's decisions will shape penguins' lives, and their story will serve as an important indicator of our planet's fate. Therefore, every individual, society, and government must take necessary measures to protect penguins, conserve natural habitats, and develop urgent solutions against climate change. Otherwise, not only penguins, but many species on Earth, and ultimately humanity, will feel the effects of this disaster. Penguins teach us lessons not only with their charm, but also about nature's fragility and resilience. Protecting them means protecting all life on the planet, and every small action can open the door to significant changes. As humans, accepting our responsibility and securing the right to life for penguins is also fundamental to building a safe and sustainable world for ourselves and future generations. The steps we take today will determine tomorrow's world, and penguins will serve as living guides, showing whether we are on the right path. Their future is, in fact, our future, because nature and humans are inseparable. If we prioritize protecting nature and combating climate change, a hopeful future for penguins and all species is possible. Even small contributions from each individual form a link in this massive chain. Reducing plastic use, saving energy, supporting eco-friendly policies, consuming responsibly, and protecting natural resources strengthen the chain. Penguins can be the symbol of this effort, walking on glaciers, hunting in the seas, and protecting their chicks. They show humans how critical it is to protect nature and invite us to live more consciously and responsibly. Their future reflects humanity's value of ecosystems, and the decisions made by every individual, society, and government will determine the fate of these small but powerful creatures. As humanity, we must accept this responsibility and act. Every step we take for penguins and all ecosystems protects not only nature, but also our own future. The future of glaciers, oceans, and penguins is in our hands, and securing this future is humanity's fundamental duty. because living in harmony with nature is the key to building a sustainable future and leaving a livable world for future generations. Penguins remind us of this responsibility and show that every action and choice shapes the fate of our planet. Protecting them is essentially securing our own existence, and as humanity, we cannot afford to ignore this message. In their icy and snowy world, penguins quietly yet powerfully remind us of nature's fragility, the importance of cooperation, and the urgency of steps needed for the future. We must heed this reminder and act immediately to secure the lives of penguins and, consequently, our own future. Penguins do not speak, yet through their existence, they convey. The world is changing, and this change determines everyone's fate. When you think of penguins, the first image that probably comes to mind is a small, tuxedoed bird waddling across ice or diving gracefully into the ocean. But penguins are far more than just charming creatures we see in documentaries or cartoons. They are survivors tenacious, adaptable, and endlessly fascinating. Their story is one of evolution, endurance, and community. Penguins live in some of the harshest environments on Earth, from the icy plains of Antarctica to rocky islands near the equator. These birds have mastered the art of living where survival seems almost impossible. The cold, the wind, the darkness during long polar nights, all of these are tests that penguins face every single day. Yet they do not just survive, they thrive. And watching them in action can be nothing short of awe-inspiring. One of the most remarkable things about penguins is that they don't fly. Unlike most birds, they gave up the sky in exchange for the ocean. It's almost poetic when you think about it. They traded one kind of freedom for another, and in doing so, they became some of the best swimmers in the animal kingdom. Their wings evolved into powerful flippers, perfect for propelling them through the water at impressive speeds. Their bodies are built for endurance in cold water, with layers of dense feathers and a thick fat layer underneath to keep them warm. Every part of a penguin's body is a tool for survival, crafted by millions of years of evolution. But it's not just their bodies that are extraordinary, it's how they live together. Penguins are social creatures, and community is central to their survival. Large colonies, sometimes made up of tens of thousands of birds, huddle together to share warmth, protect against predators, and care for their young. In these gatherings, individuality fades, and cooperation becomes everything. Each bird plays a role, and their collective effort ensures that the colony survives through storms, extreme cold, and scarce food. There is a quiet beauty in this kind of life, an almost human-like sense of shared responsibility and teamwork. Breeding season is perhaps the most challenging part of a penguin's life. In some species, a parent will stand guard over an egg for weeks, without eating, keeping it warm against freezing winds and icy surfaces. The dedication is incredible, an almost unimaginable level of sacrifice. It's a reminder that life is often about more than individual survival. It's about nurturing the next generation. When the chicks hatch, both parents feed them with food they have partially digested, carefully prepared to ensure the little ones grow strong. For weeks, the chicks are completely dependent on this care, learning the rhythms of life in their colony, observing, and copying behaviors from others. As they grow, penguin chicks gradually develop the waterproof feathers they will need for swimming and surviving in the ocean. The moment they first dive into the water is a rite of passage, an initiation into the demanding life of an adult penguin. From that point on, survival depends on skill, instinct, and resilience. Watching a young penguin take its first plunge into icy waters is both heart-stopping and heartwarming, a small triumph of courage over fear. Penguins are also incredible hunters. They dive, chase, and catch fish, squid, and other small sea creatures with precision. Some species hunt in groups, coordinating movements to herd fish into manageable schools. This hunting behavior demonstrates not only intelligence but also the importance of cooperation. Every penguin contributes to maintaining the balance of its ecosystem. By feeding on certain species, they help regulate populations, and they provide food for other predators higher up the food chain. In this way, penguins are not just surviving, they are quietly sustaining life around them. However, penguins' future is not without challenges. Human activity has had a profound impact on their habitats. Climate change is altering the ice and ocean currents they rely on, reducing their access to food, and forcing some species to adapt or move. Pollution, overfishing, and oil spills create additional threats. Even tourism and research stations, when not managed carefully, can disrupt breeding patterns. Penguins remind us that the delicate balance of nature is vulnerable, and that our actions ripple far beyond our immediate environment. Despite these challenges, penguins continue to inspire us. They teach lessons about resilience, community, and adaptability. They remind us that survival is not just about strength, it's about patience, cooperation, and careful planning. They show us the power of dedication and the importance of nurturing the next generation. Watching a penguin colony in winter, huddled together against howling winds, it's impossible not to feel a sense of wonder and respect for their way about the way penguins navigate life. Their cooperation mirrors our own need for community. Their persistence in the face of extreme hardship reflects our capacity for endurance. Their care for their young reminds us of the universal importance of protecting and supporting the next generation. Penguins are not just animals, they are storytellers, living lessons about the beauty and complexity of life in a world that is often harsh and unforgiving. Ultimately, penguins teach us about hope. They are small, yet mighty, vulnerable, yet resilient. And through them, we can glimpse what it truly means to live in harmony with nature. Protecting penguins means protecting entire ecosystems and, in a broader sense, ensuring that the natural world continues to thrive. Every action we take, no matter how small, reducing plastic use, supporting sustainable fishing, or advocating for climate action, has the potential to make a difference. Penguins depend on our awareness and care, and in doing so, they remind us that the future is in our hands. So, when you think of penguins next time, think beyond the cute waddle or the funny slide across the ice. Think of their incredible journeys, their unwavering dedication to family and community, and their quiet endurance against the odds. Think of the lessons they teach us, lessons about resilience, hope, and the importance of living in balance with the world around us. Penguins are not just survivors. They are teachers, guides, and reminders that life, even in its harshest forms, is worth cherishing and protecting. Penguins as indicators of the planet's health. Every change in their lives reflects the transformations the Earth is undergoing. If penguins disappear, it would signal not only the loss of a species, but also the endangerment of humanity's own future. Penguins do not speak, yet through their existence they convey, "The world is changing, and this change determines everyone's fate."